All right, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to run you through real quickly my transformation, how I got here, what my program is, who it's for, and how all this stuff works. So I'll go through real quick and just kind of outline everything and talk through what I do, why I do it, where I came from, things like that. So how I went from a skinny college kid to gaining 35 pounds of lean muscle, maximizing my look, and building unbreakable discipline while still enjoying life, still enjoying college, right? Here, skinny kid, freshman year, drinking whatever I wanted, eating whatever I wanted, not training, not consistent, terrible sleep schedule, headaches all the time. Just overall, there was just nothing good going on here for me. And I look in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like who I was at all, right? Fast forward, I'm a senior in college now, 4 years later. I dialed in everything, and here's the result, right? So much happier with where I am now. I look in the mirror every day and I'm happy with what I see. I'm very proud of everything I've accomplished, and it's just a testament to the work I've put in through these past 4 years. So how did I achieve this, right? You look back at me when I was younger, right? I didn't have those genetics that everyone talks about, right? And I don't think genetics are really what it comes down to anyways. But as you can see, didn't have a whole lot going for me here, right? How did I achieve this? I stopped being the skinny kid and committed to building myself from the ground up, right? Because where I started, I didn't have a whole lot going for me. Like I said, I learned how to train with intention, not just showing up, but mastering form, progression, and intensity. All this came with time, right? When I first got in the gym, I didn't quite understand what it took. But through a lot of trial and error, I finally figured out what works and what doesn't, and I stopped wasting time doing things that were not benefiting me and my physique and my goals. Big piece as well, I dialed in my nutrition for the first time in my life and built habits that made eating for muscle easy, even in college, right? So I am a college student, and for majority of my first year of college, I'd go in the dining hall and I was eating burgers and I was eating this and I was eating that, and I thought it didn't really matter that much so long as I stayed up on my protein, and I didn't have a good grasp of what it took to build a good physique, what a good nutrition dense diet looks like, what a whole food diet looks like. I was not aware of any of that, and again, through a lot of trial and error, messing up the dining hall, not eating the right foods, not feeling good, right? That was a big thing too. Like, I didn't have good energy. I didn't have good moods. I was always struggling with that. And fixing that was a huge part of, getting to this second picture where, I'm looking my absolute best. This is the best I've ever looked in my entire life. This is this past summer. Abs, striations through the legs, arms, everything much fuller, just a much better physique. And again, a testament to being on plan, sticking to the diet that I set out for myself and learning through a lot of trial and error. And I created a lifestyle that worked with college instead of against it, so I could grow socially and physically at the same time, right? I'm not some bodybuilder robot. I may not even compete in the future. It's not really on my agenda. I think it would be cool to do, but it's not necessarily the goal right now, right? So, I still go out. I still have fun with friends. I still party in college. I still do all those things. I just do it a little bit less, which brings me to the 90-10 method. The 90-10 method, what does that mean? It means that 90% of the time, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on plan. I'm doing, sticking to my meal plan, sticking to my training, being consistent with that, being consistent with the gym, and ultimately being locked in 90% of the time, so that other 10% of the time, I can enjoy myself, party, eat good foods, guilt-free. Not have to think twice about it. When you're on top of things 90% of the time, you can enjoy yourself 10% of the time. And that's been my approach throughout this whole process, and it's helped me a ton. And that brings me, to my next point. I'm not special, and you can do it too. I work with dozens of clients, and these are just a select few that I've chosen I think have gone really well. They've done a really good job. They've really enjoyed the process with me. I have many more, but this is just kind of a highlight of what can happen when you actually lock in and you get into the nitty-gritty of your diet and your training and the things that actually matter, right? My client Brady, he's been working with me now for 4 months, just 4 months. Achieved a killer six-pack slash his dream physique, right? He tells me all the time, man, I love my look. This is the best he's ever looked. And I've known him for a good amount of time now. This is the best he's ever looked. In just 4 months, and we still have, I want to say, 6 to 8 more months left in the program together, right? You can see here, bloated, water retention, a little bit of that fatty look to absolutely dice, just a total 180. And he's absolutely killed it since getting in the program. My client Matt put on 30 pounds of good size, putting him at his goal weight of 200 pounds in just 6 months, right? When he came to me, he was 170 pounds, as you can see, very skinny guy. And he came to me and he's like, dude, I want to put on muscle. I want to be 200 pounds. And that's what we did. We worked together for 6 to 10 months. I want to say 10 months. And he put on 30 pounds and looks much better, kept good condition throughout. A real good, slow, lean bulk. And he's achieved so much. He's so happy with his physique. And I'm really proud of that guy as well. Then we go to my client, Indy. Lost over 50 pounds in 10 months. I mean, you can see right here, the difference is just absolutely insane. The habits she's built, the knowledge she's taken from me, she's just killing it on every single, aspect of this whole thing. And it's just so cool to see. In 10 months, completely changed her life and confidence. I mean, when you have a drastic change like that, your life changes. The way people treat you changes. The world around you changes. Your confidence changes. The way you walk into a room when you've accomplished something like that changes a ton. My client Marcus, abs, veins, striations that he had not seen before, right? He came to me, had a good base physique, right? He was a guy who was training and dieting, but he didn't quite understand what it took to get where he wanted, right? He said, hey, I want to cut down. I want to see my abs, and this is kind of an older picture. He looks even better than this now. And he's absolutely shredded. I mean, he looks amazing. And it really is just a testament to him coming in, adhering to the plan that I laid out for him, getting into the nitty gritty, following his diet, following his training, doing the cardio, doing the hard things, doing the boring things over and over and over again. And, you can see the result. He's done a great job in the program. And this is just, like I said, 4 of my dozens of clients that I just wanted to highlight and show you that, hey, it's not just me, right? I'm not special. I'm not anyone better than anybody else. Anyone can do this, and that's the whole point, right? If you want to level up your mindset, level up your physique, right, you can do it too. Now that brings me to my next point. Who is this for? If you're sick of looking in the mirror and hating your physique and know you're capable of more, this is for you. If you're wishing you could take off your shirt in public and be proud of the body you've worked so hard for, this is for you. If you're working countless hours and doing well financially, but you are feeling less confident in your body, this is for you. If you're aiming to build a strong mindset and execute even when it gets hard, this is for you. If you're looking for a sustainable solution that can help you break free from binge eating and food guilt, this is for you. Which brings me to my next point. Who is this not for, right? If you're looking for a quick, easy way to get shredded, gain lean tissue, this isn't for you. If you're looking to be committed during the week, but then completely let loose on the weekends, this isn't for you. If you're only interested in changing your physique and think that you won't have to reframe your mindset, this is not for you. If you're looking to achieve your dream physique without building habits that will stick, I promise you will gain the fat back and you will be right back where you started. So this definitely isn't for you. If you're only willing to sacrifice a little to achieve your dream physique, then this is not for you. And here's the truth, right? It needs to be sustainable. We're not robots. We're not eating chicken and rice every single day and not enjoying what life has to offer, right? We need to find an approach that works, right? The gym doesn't need to be your entire lifestyle. Instead, it's something that enhances your lifestyle. For a long time, I thought that I was who I was because of the gym, right? I wasn't enjoying the things of the world quite as much, and I wasn't even making the progress that I wanted to. So I was suffering in the gym, spending countless hours, avoiding time with friends, avoiding time with family, missing out on Thanksgiving meals, things like that. And my physique wasn't to the standard that I wanted it to be, and I wasn't enjoying anything that life had to offer, right? So this is an addition to your life. You're not saying no to the world. You're not saying no to what life has to offer. but instead you're adding the gym into your regimen and you're progressing because of it. The key is finding a sustainable whole food meal plan that you enjoy eating year round. I have been eating the same foods for roughly 2.5 years now, since I started taking this whole thing seriously, my fitness, my nutrition, everything like that. And I can tell you this is the best I've ever felt, the best I've ever looked, the best I've ever performed. And I do not ever want to go back to anything else. The whole food diet is the best decision I ever made. I feel great. I look great. I perform great. And that's what matters to me, right? And again, it does not need to be chicken and rice every day. You see these bodybuilders who eat the chicken and rice and the ground beef and rice. Sure, I do eat that sometimes, but I also eat other foods, right? I also eat sweet potato fries, and I make burgers, and you can get fun with it, and that's the whole point. You want to enjoy the foods that you're eating, right? This shouldn't seem like a chore. It should seem like an addition to your life that helps you progress and that you also enjoy eating day in and day out. And then finding effective workouts that force growth without wasting time. Like I said, I wasted a lot of time early in my years of lifting where I was not performing effectively and I was not lifting like I should have been. But don't worry, I won't let this happen to you. You don't have to live like a robot, like I said, to get the results that you want and build the confidence you desire. You just need to optimize a few key factors in and around your lifestyle, right? This is where I was when I really started putting effort in. I wasn't really tracking anything, but I was eating better and I was lifting hard, right? Decent physique. Here, this is fast forward a year or two, took the bulk too far, but I put on some good size, didn't do the best with my diet, was still trying to find out what worked and what didn't. And then fast forward to now, I still eat a good amount of food. I cut down and I feel much better. I'm athletic. I can move around. I can do cardio with ease. I feel great. I look great. And, just all around a huge progression from where I started to where I am now. And if you want that person to be you, I will show you exactly how I did it. How to get shredded without giving up the things you love. How I overcame my inner bitch and achieved the physique of my dreams. How to build muscle while still eating some of your favorite foods. Be extremely effective with the valuable time that you do have and actually see results from your effort. Again, not wasting time in the gym, not being a robot and eating chicken and rice, and ultimately conquering your inner bitch. So here's a quick backstory on me and how I got here. So I was always involved in sports growing up. I played college football my freshman year. I was recruited to play college football my first year in college. I quickly found that did not fulfill me. I love football. I love the game, but it wasn't for me. I knew I wanted to do something else. I knew I was destined for something greater, right? Got to college and spent all my time trying to find the next party, the next function, and drinking as much as possible, right? My days consisted of looking forward to the weekends, and my weekends consisted of partying. There was no training. There was no bettering myself. There was no bettering my mindset. There was no diet. There was no nothing. And truthfully, I was not happy. I was just distracting myself with drinking and people and fun because I didn't have anything else going for me. And I quickly realized that was not the route I wanted to take, and I knew I needed to do something different. And then, after all that, I got into personal training after I had, really taken the gym serious and started doing that much more consistently, following a plan, hiring a coach, all that good stuff. Started as a personal trainer, but I couldn't fully help my clients and had a hard time creating transformations, right? I worked for a year at a gym as an in-person trainer, and I love it for what it was. It taught me a lot. It helped me with my people skills, everything like that. But the problem was people would show up once a week for their workouts, and that was it, right? I would always tell them, hey, if you have any questions about food or advice outside of the gym or whatever, they wouldn't text me. Never. They would never text me, so I'd see them once a week, and we weren't making progress. I put them through one workout, and that was it. They would show up and see me once a week, and that was it. I couldn't help them to the extent I wanted to, so it felt like a lose-lose situation, right? And also, at the same time, these people are paying loads of money to work with me one time a week when I can't even help them as much as I'd like to. So I quickly realized that was not the route I wanted to take, and I knew that I could take it a step further with online coaching, where I can actually dig in and help people and get into the nitty gritty and create transformations and help people transform their lives while also not breaking everyone else's bank doing so. Now I'm going to quickly outline the entire process that transformed my mindset and physique so that you can also build your dream physique and reach your full potential. So where does it all start? You got to build your discipline. You have to build your discipline. You have to cut out all the excuses that you think are relevant when it comes to your goals, because they're not. They're just excuses, and that's all they are. Started following a strict meal plan, staying on track with the things I told myself I was going to do. That is a big key. When you tell yourself you're going to do something, you do it. Confidence is built through action, not by looking in the mirror and shouting affirmations at yourself, right? It's a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are through actions time and time again. I started mapping out all my thoughts, my plans and goals, my journal. Here's my journal. I write in it every day. I write out a to-do list, right, of high priority tasks that I know I need to get done for my business, for myself, for my training, for my nutrition, all that good stuff, as well as future goals for every single month. Every month has goals written out for it. 2026 is around the corner. I'm excited to write out my big year goals as well. I would write out my to-do list daily and would cross off the list from the day before, right? So I'd write out my journal, my to-do list, and then that night I'd go through and I'd cross off all the things I did and all the things I didn't do. And the things I didn't do would move on to the next day. More times than not, I'd end up crossing off majority of the to-do list. And you may not always cross everything off, but it's just a good feeling to go through, see what you accomplished that day, and see what also needs to get done, right? And then lifting and cardio daily, right? Do you have to do cardio every single day? No, you don't. Not to reach your goals, right? Maybe you do it 5 times a week or whatever the case may be. But for me, it's a discipline thing, right? I show up and I do the cardio every day because it makes me feel good, helps me perform better, helps with my physique, and it's also something that sometimes I don't like doing. So when I do it, when I don't feel like doing it, it builds that discipline, builds that confidence with myself that, hey, I can do things when I don't feel like doing it. Right? You have to level up your mindset as well. Wasted countless hours, man, doom scrolling and listening to music. Wasting time, essentially. I mean, doom scrolling and listening to music is just a waste of time. And I knew I was falling way short of my potential. So I started listening to podcasts, motivational speakers, and audiobooks. Atomic Habits is one of my favorite books. I've listened to that audiobook 3 times now. I absolutely love it. I think if you're interested, you should 100% listen to it. Another person I watch a lot, Alex Hormozi, has great business advice, great life advice, just an overall great person to listen to when it comes to motivation and leveling up your mindset. And then again, everyone knows Higher Up Wellness, who's come up this past year as a great motivational speaker and speaking life into people, just motivating the youth and people to go after things. Another great person I've been listening to recently and has helped me a lot with, my business and my physique and everything like that. And I started to distance myself from friends and surround myself with like-minded individuals, right? Throughout this process, I have lost relationships. No doubt about it. I have lost countless relationships, and I'm not upset about it because those were simply just not people that align with my lifestyle. And that's all it has to be. Doesn't mean I have any ill will towards them or vice versa, but we simply are on different paths and it didn't align. So I started, surrounding myself with people who were more like me, who had bigger goals, who had bigger aspirations and wanted to be good people and level up their mindsets and wanted to work hard. And sometimes that's what it's going to take, right? If you're hanging out with a bunch of people who smoke weed, drink all the time, party all the time, and you say, hey, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to skip that because I'm going to the gym in the morning, they may look at you differently. And you might have to be ready for that. Once I made these changes, my life trajectory started to shift for the better. Trial and error. Growing up, I watched a lot of Alex Eubank and Shizzy at the beginning of my fitness journey too. Very aesthetic lifting guys. They have some good things as far as advice goes, but really just looked up to them and their physique and how they looked. Growing up, I struggled heavily with acne, right? You can see there, it's not a great picture, but I mean, I would get the worst acne, and it was from bad foods. It was from sugary foods, and it was from alcohol. I'd wake up the day after drinking, and I'd have, 5, 6 new pimples on my chest and my face, and it irked me, right? I absolutely hated it, and I knew that I needed to change. And ever since I switched, to a better diet and everything like that, my acne, my skin, everything has gotten so much better. And again, that comes down to trial and error. I was trying to do this approach where I was drinking a lot and also lifting. That was not the right approach for me. My body didn't respond well to that, so I had to switch it up. I had to do less drinking, less partying, and focus more on the things that mattered. I never saw much progress in the gym and spent too much time in the gym. It felt like, for 2 years there, I was stagnant. I wasn't making progress. I was in the gym training for 3+ hours for absolutely no reason, not growing, just wasting time. And I quickly realized that that was not the right approach. So I had to take a step back, assess my situation, assess what needed to be done, and make changes there. And then I discovered a split that worked for me, spending less time in the gym while maximizing results, right? I'm only in there for an hour and a half, right? Depending on if I have cardio or not. But I'm not in there for very long. I get in, I get it done, and I get results. And that's the best way to do it. Then it comes down to dialing in the right foods. And I'll say this time and time again. I think that your diet is 80% of this whole thing. If you can get your diet down, if you can find something that works for you and is sustainable and, fuels your body correctly, you will make strides when it comes to your physique, when it comes to fitness. I found a whole foods diet that I enjoyed, truthfully, that I really enjoyed, that was sustainable, that I can eat every day, day in and day out, and enjoy what I'm eating and enjoy the way I feel because of it. Right? I focused on clean, high protein foods while also having a weekly cheat meal. And that's my approach. I still do that to this day. Every week I have a meal where maybe I go get dinner with some buddies, or maybe I go get some McDonald's, God forbid, or something, just to give myself a weekly break, right? It's a mindset reset, right? Because I diet all week, and it's a personal incentive I give myself that, hey, I stuck to my diet plan all week. I was consistent. I'm going to go have a cheat meal. And it's funny enough, every time I do have that cheat meal, it's never fulfilling. I always feel kind of crappy after, and I want to get right back on my meal plan. So it works well in that regard as well. Then I brought down my drinking. Right now I drink once a month tops, if that. I had to bring that down a lot because alcohol is extremely catabolic for your gains. And then physique really started to dial in, and confidence soared once I dialed in that nutrition. I mean, I'm telling you, like I said, diet is 80% of this. If you can dial that in, the rest will follow suit. So, dialing in the right foods is a big part of this. And then, I had to find the perfect balance, right? I tried all kinds of different diets and splits, but finally found one that worked for me. And that's the same thing we'd be doing with you, right? You want to find a diet and a training plan that you like, that works for you, and is sustainable, that also promotes progress. Found the sweet spot of making substantial gym progress while still enjoying what life had to offer. Eliminated processed foods and focused on real, nutrient-dense, whole foods. And then bang, dream of physique achieved. I mean, this is the best I've ever looked, the happiest I've ever been, the most confident I've ever been. And it's all a result of dialing in the right things. Sometimes less is more. I used to waste hours and hours in the gym overtraining and had no tangible results. I was never satisfied with the man I saw looking back at me in the mirror. So I found a long-term sustainable approach that effortlessly gave me the results I was looking for without wasting hours in the gym. So now that you understand exactly how this process works, I have an offer for you. If you're tired of almost being in shape, reliant on caffeine for energy, and unable to dial in your foods and your diet, and are ready to finally reach your dream physique, wanting to make lifelong change and unlock the perfect balance, life, and locked in, right, between those, of being locked in, hitting your goals, hitting your milestones, getting those things done while also enjoying what life has to offer, then this is for you, right? I have a link in the bio where you can book a call with me. We'll go over your goals together. We'll go over what you want to accomplish with me. Then we'll go over how my programming works, how my check-ins work. I'll be sending you, weekly check-ins, everything like that. We'll see if you want to move forward from there. And if you are ready to do that, right, go from, fat, undisciplined, unmotivated, lack of muscle tissue, in both of these pictures to, shredded, much more muscle tissue, better mindset, much more consistent, extremely disciplined, then this is for you. And then you and I will go over the fast track lane to achieve the same results that I did in a much quicker time span, skipping the BS, skipping the trial and error, and getting right into the nitty gritty and making the progress that you want. If that's something you think you can do, click the link below, book a call with me, and we'll talk there.